Evil Spirit Followed Me Home by Norse Flame. First, a bit of background on me. I am ordained into the priesthood of a certain religious organization and have quite a bit of experience with theological and spiritual issues. That being said, when it comes to paranormal encounters, I tend to be skeptical most of the time. Not that I don't believe in spirits, but I just think sometimes our imaginations tend to run away with us. Anyway, when this experience happened, I was living in Sweden, carrying out a theological ministry, and myself and some of my fellow priests were alerted to a potential case of demon possession or haunting by one of our good Swedish friends. He and his girlfriend had been experimenting with some pretty weird necromancy type stuff, and had had what they felt like was a malevolent force move into their lives, which was dogging them with all sorts of weird occurrences. You know, pretty typical haunting stuff. His girlfriend had been plagued so badly by the spirit that she felt she was actually becoming possessed. Despite being rather skeptical, we agreed to check it out, because of course, it's our place to be of comfort to people. We went to their place, which did give us some bad juju vibes, not gonna lie. Performed a sort of exorcism according to the rituals of our church, and dedicated their apartment against further sorts of encroachments. We felt pretty good about ourselves. After a long day, we went back to the apartment we were sharing. There were 4 of us together in this little place outside of Stockholm. After going to bed and turning out the lights, I began to feel a strange and irrational sense of growing dread in the air, almost as if a Dementor from Harry Potter had just drifted into the apartment. The hair on my neck stood up as the air became more and more heavy. It felt like the darkness was thickening like a fog in the corners of the room, making it hard to breathe. Then I heard a creak of floorboards from the living room as something moved through it. I got out of bed and softly made my way to the bedroom door. To my surprise, I met my priestly colleagues in the hallway. They all looked spooked as we looked at each other. I could tell immediately that they had felt what I did, that we were no longer alone in the apartment. One of my roommates grabbed a baseball bat and quietly went through the whole apartment, finally declaring that there was no one there. We decided to perform the same exorcism/dedication ritual that we have done earlier that day, now in our own apartment. As we completed the ritual, there was a sudden, loud sound from the vicinity of the window in the living room. It sounded like a super loud, drawn-out, ripping noise, like someone ripping up a carpet or undoing a giant sheet of Velcro. After the ripping sound, the air seemed to lighten and clear. The sense of dread left us, and it felt like we were alone. I don't think any of us slept particularly well after that. The next morning, as we were leaving our apartment to minister, we found 3 notes taped to our door. One from our upstairs neighbor, one from our neighbors to the left, and one from our neighbors to the right. They all basically said the same thing. You jerks were banging on your walls, ceilings and floors all night long. Some of us have work in the morning. Do your hammering during the day. After talking to our neighbors about the incident, they all said the same thing. There had been an incessant and loud knocking, almost as if with a hammer, on the walls adjoining our apartment that kept up all night. It began about the time we did our ritual. Strangely enough, inside the apartment, we didn't hear a single thing. It was dead quiet and peaceful. Since then, I have never experienced anything quite that dramatic or scary. But I certainly am less quick to dismiss the paranormal stories from others after going through something so visceral myself.